Hey, it's Clay at ClayTrader.com. This will be a live trade video where I try to capture some of my trades as they play out live. First, quick couple clarifications. Number one, I am trading futures. If you don't know what futures are, I'll put a link down below to a totally free 4-part series that'll walk through the futures market and how it all works. But futures are awesome. No pattern day trading rule. They're open 6 days a week, 23 hours a day. So there's always time to find something to trade. So if you're busy, like I said, great way to fit some trading into your potentially very, very busy schedule. And there's a lot of other great things going on. The other thing being prop firms, which is my second point, is I am trading futures through a prop firm. What is a prop firm? How does a prop firm work? Which prop firm am I using? You can learn more about that up the link above. I'll also put it down in the description area. But in a nutshell, a prop firm is a way for you to have very little of your own money at risk, and then you have a whole lot of upside potential. So if that sounds like something that could be of value to you, then definitely check out that link. So I'll go ahead and pause the screen recording software for now. Well, actually, as I say that, we're getting this pullback here. Maybe I'm going to give this a try here on the pullback. I want to come down a little bit more. Being too picky here. All right, I'll keep a close eye on it, but maybe interested in going long here. But I'll pause the screen recording software for now. All right, I'm thinking about a potential short here now. If it wants, in fact, let me just throw the order out. Whoop, never mind, up it goes. Well, good thing I was waiting for confirmation. I may still do that if it comes back down. This thing's just going to beast mode. I'm looking at a buy here now. Doesn't want to make a push up towards the yellow line is now what I'm wondering. Oh. I'm going to try a short here. If it wants to come all the way back down, I'd consider that a... Okay, I'm in and out there. Very, very nice. I don't have my screen marker. Let me get my screen marker. So if you're not familiar with my screen right there, showed up very, very quickly. So that is something else that's nice about futures is they move and they move very quick. Now that is a two-sided coin. They do move very quickly against you also. So if you're not careful or not disciplined, it can spin out of control in a hurry. That is also one of the nice things about the prop firms, though. Drop here. Let's hop over to a different type of contract here and see if I can try something. There we go. Starting smaller. There we go. Quick little scalp there. So again, these are a different type of contract. So the nice thing about futures also is you can trade the same chart, the same general patterns, but you can do so in ways with different contracts that add up differently. So this contract here moves 10 times slower. So had I been on the contracts that I did up here, that would actually been $350. So yes, in hindsight, I'm wishing I did not choose these contracts. With that said, had I been wrong and had the price gone against me, I'd be very glad that this was not a $350 loss, right? So it's always a give and take, but futures, there's a lot of flexibility from a risk management standpoint because again, you can choose to trade certain contracts that are much less volatile. All right, I'm going to try. Okay, in there we go. Another nice little scalp. And I'm just starting small because these are, I want to give myself flexibility. Now, when you start small and if you do nail the bottom, like I did right there, then yeah, you'll be a little irritated, like why didn't I go bigger size? But I do not expect to nail the bottom, so that's why I want to give myself flexibility. As we go, let's check out. Oh, wow, gold's also getting hammered. I'm going to go a little bit smaller. This is a pretty big move to the downside here. Let's have it go down a little bit more, and I can take another swing at it. Again, start small. Here we go. And a couple more. Okay, there for another scalp. So that one started with smaller size. So that was where I'm glad I gave myself flexibility because I definitely did not nail the bottom. But because I gave myself flexibility, I was still able to do just fine. Put my next order down here. If this one, I realize that seems maybe far away, but for this strategy, yeah, that's what I'm going to want. I wanted to get kind of filled for my first entry in a an area that doesn't seem possible, but all it takes is another kind of push to the downside. But yes, futures, they move very quickly. All right, I'll pause. All right, now I'm looking for a short. This is a pretty wild move back up, but let's see what happens here. I'm going to try my first one right there. Again, just starting small on the short side. Pushes up through that. Let's see here. Wow. All right, at this point, I'm just going to sit back now. This is a total V-shape recovery. Holy smokes. If you ever heard of V-shape recoveries, this is now it's turned into a check mark. So a V-shape, think about it. This move This move started here, went all the way down here. It has now gone right back, straight up to where it's returned. So there's the V. The higher it goes up and up and up, then it starts to become the check mark pattern, which is even more brutal. Wow. That is crazy. That's wild. Welcome to the world of futures, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'll pause. Glad I kind of was like, let me cancel that out because, wow, look at it go. All right, I'll pause. And just for reference sake, it is 9:39. So I've made right here over $500 in less than 10 minutes. And a little trick that I like to share from time to time, because I always struggle with it, is it's very easy to get on social media and look around and see massive numbers. And then look at your results and be like, man, what am I doing wrong? That's not very good. But what I always do to help myself is, and I realize I'm over 500, but let's just call it 500 for example's sake. And this all came in about, like I said, less than 10 minutes. So let's just call it 10 minutes, $500 in 10 minutes. So if you ever find yourself not feeling so good about your results because you're on social media and seeing absolutely epic gains, do this little experiment with yourself. Let's pretend that somebody's sitting next to you and that person makes, I don't know, $50 an hour. They make $50 an hour. So I have somebody sitting next to me that makes $50 an hour, and then I'm like, oh man, I only made $500 in 10 minutes. Man, what is going? I'm terrible. This is ridiculous. You would never do that. Why would you never do that? Because you realize that sounds insane. You would never complain about $500 in 10 minutes, or if you made $300 in 10 minutes, or $200 in 10 minutes, or $100 in 10 minutes, if you had somebody sitting next to you making $50 an hour, because you understand that person would look at you like the most deranged, detached, greedy, savage person ever. So just always keep that in mind. Trading is almost scam-like in the sense of just how much the numbers can add up. Now, of course, yes, if you're not careful, it can add up against you. That's why risk management is king of the mountain. But just like I said, that whole exercise is just to help you be grateful for the gains that you do have, because social media can be very toxic in that regard. Don't get me wrong, it can be motivating too, but in other regards, it can be toxic because it makes you take actually really, really crazy outcomes and then look at them and be like, well, geez, that's not that good, or I'm not that good, which is, like I said, absolutely bonkers. So I'm kind of stalling, seeing if maybe it can get up here, and looks like it might. So I'm going to try to get short right there. Again, starting small, but looking to get short if the price can come up to that area right there. If it doesn't, I'll probably call it good because, again, hey, I'm not going to complain about these. Yep, and now it comes back down. So never mind, and I'm going to go ahead and call it good. I'm happy with that. $500, less than 10 minutes. Before I do go, though, I want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering. So if you are a new trader, struggling trader, then I'm very confident this class will give you some good insights and things to focus on. If you are a battle-hardened veteran with a rock-solid strategy, you're welcome to attend. I'm just not quite sure you're necessarily going to walk away with anything mind-blowing. But like I said, nonetheless, still welcome to attend. But in the category of beginner trader or struggling trader, definitely get signed up. I'm very confident that I'll give you some things to think about and consider within your journey. So if you go to ClayTrader.com/live or just check out the link in the description area, you can learn when the next live class is. So thanks for watching, and make sure you hit that like button, and I'll see you back in the next one.